Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of What Anna Said podcast. We are back. You know, we said that on our last episode, and we really meant that we're back. So we're here recording another episode. We have an incredible guest with us this morning. We are so excited to have her. She is someone who is living proof that it is never too late to chase your dreams. Exactly. And it's just such an inspiring thing for us to be able to know her and for her to say yes to this episode. Okay. I think every time we send out a request or ask someone to be on this episode, we're kind of like, are they going to say no, or they're just going to ghost us, or what? So we're so excited to have her here. She is a mother. She's a mom of 6. She's also a loving wife. She's someone who was a teacher for many years. And then she was always inspiring students, obviously, because we see here as we sit in her piano studio that she was teacher of the year. So that says a lot. She then decided, it doesn't stop there, guys, because then she decided to take her passion and love for music and create a piano studio, open up a piano studio, which is where we are this morning filming this episode. And that's a power move, okay? Taking that leap of faith to turn her passion and her love for something into a business. That is inspiring because I'm still trying to learn out what am I passionate about? What do I love that I can turn into money? We're so excited you guys tune in today. This morning we welcome Analyn, Tuha, V.
Yes.
Okay.
Sure. Whatever you want to call
it.
There's a story behind that, but yes, Vimahi is fine.
We'll definitely get into it one of these days. But we welcome you. Thank you so much for saying yes. And thank you so much for creating your piano studio. I know me and Kim both got to, get to know you a little bit more by being here at one of your classes. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, you guys really built me up, so I'm feeling pretty good right now. But yeah, I was a mom for several years, and then I finally finished my degree after a long absence from school. And then once I did, I got right into teaching. So like you said, I'd been teaching for 8 years, and then I decided to step away from teaching for a year, and I did something else. I was working in an investment office. And people always ask me how it was, and I was like, it's great, but I was never like, oh, I love it, because I knew I didn't. But it was like, there's nothing wrong with it. I took that and set that to the side, and then I started the piano business. So that's what I'm doing now.
Sally did a wonderful job introducing you, obviously, and all of the things that you've accomplished. But I'm really curious about your childhood and your upbringing and everything that has built you up to this day.
Yeah, I was thinking about that as I was kind of contemplating what to share today. And both of my parents were very hard workers. Of course, my dad came from the islands. He's from Tonga. And my mom is from Idaho. But as I was growing up, they both worked all the time. My mom worked from home, so she had her own sewing business going for a while, and she would just wake up in the morning, and whoever was home, didn't have school, would get to go with her to all these cleaners, and she'd pick up their clothes, come back home, sew them, take them back the next morning, and do the same thing every day. And then my dad, he had a landscaping business, and he worked for American Airlines, so they were pretty hardcore people. But she did open up her own storefront at one point, and I remember being there, and it was just nice to always have her home. But then same thing, when we all got old enough where we were all in school, she ended up becoming a school teacher as well. Yeah, so there's a long line of school teachers on my mom's side. And so that's kind of what led me into that,
that is really cool.
That career. But yeah, they were hustlers. And so that's kind of how I decided, okay, I can do my own thing.
For sure.
So that's kind of where that came
especially after seeing your parents, growing up and seeing your parents do that, especially for your mom and her sewing business. You got to see that firsthand as a kid. That's amazing. Because you don't realize the things that it's sewing in your life, the things that you're learning from it, the spirit of entrepreneurship and how she took that into her own hands. And you said your dad had his actual 9-to-5, but then actually having his side hustle also. And that makes so much sense. Just seeing your story, especially following your mother's footsteps with teaching. And that in itself is a beautiful thing. I think all the teachers
Yeah.
out there that sign up to do this thing, because it's hard. As a parent with my own children, it's hard. So just to imagine other children that are coming into your door, whatever subject it is you're teaching, or in the arts or PE, and having to dedicate and invest in these children, it just makes so much sense that it's not just a occupation for you, that you are a teacher in life, and you brought that over into your life now, and having this studio, that is so amazing to see. When was your earliest memory of being interested, like in music, anything musical? Or
My dad always had me singing. Like we had church talent shows.
That makes sense.
You know, those videos when people come out with those, they're really embarrassing. But I was the leader of the Jets at one point.
There you go.
So I remember being on stage, and I was Liz. You know, I was the one that was singing head head singer. And then my brother had a saxophone that he was like pretending to play. And then we had like a poster board guitar or something. Somebody else had drumsticks, and I'm pretty sure they were like chopsticks or pencils. I don't know. But yeah, it was just my dad liked to hear me sing. And my mom did play piano. And so that's kind of where I had gotten into that. So we had a piano at home, and they had asked me one day if I wanted to take lessons, and I was like, sure. So I think I started that like maybe 5th grade, and then continued for a few years until junior high, and then got busy with sports, and I just kind of stopped. So I would say probably by 15, I wasn't even taking lessons anymore.
Wow. That reminds me of that scene in the movie Selena, where her siblings are back there, and they're making noise, and they're banging on all these different instruments, and the dad is, you know, trying to get them to make something that sounds good. And
I don't know if I sounded good, but I was the oldest girl at the time. So.
Right. That is so cool. And that just continued on in your life. You said you started piano, and then later on in life began to life, and you kind of put that, you know, didn't think about it again for a little bit there. What inspired you to pick it up again and be serious about it, even becoming the piano teacher? That's
You know, like just hearing you talk, even teaching, like I didn't want to be a teacher.
That's funny.
I didn't want to be a teacher.
And you got Teacher of the Year.
And let me just, for those of you who are watching on YouTube and you can't see what we're looking at the plaque where it says Teacher of the Year, which is so ironic because you didn't want to be a teacher, and that just shows that this was a natural. This is a natural.
So I mean, I think Heavenly Father really just put all these things in my path that I would not have chosen myself. Like I didn't want to be a teacher. You said what inspired you to pick it up? I was not inspired to pick it back up. The bishop of our congregation, like there was nobody that could play piano, and they remembered when I was younger that I had taken lessons.
Hey, Liz.
I was like, oh, sheesh.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was kind of things that were kind of, I don't want to say forced in my direction. They were opportunities. And I have a hard time saying no to people.
Oh, yeah.
So
you're speaking to the CEO.
So you get how I feel.
I
think it's the oldest.
We speak the same language.
We feel like a lot of pressure, and everybody's relying on us. So that's kind of how that went. But even the fact that I had gone to that investment office when I started this business, I didn't think that I would be able to have any money, but because I had worked there, I was like, oh, I can pull out from my 401k. And that's what I did. Like if I didn't have that, I would not have done this, because I wouldn't have seen how it could even be possible at all.
I love how we think things are unrelated in our life, but then when we take a step back, we see how, well, maybe I went here and the things that I learned here helped me to do this. And I love how everything just connects and everything works together. Also, I think it's so amazing that you picked this up as to fill a need in your church. They said, we need the leader of the Jets. And you were there. That is just so inspiring to see that you filled a need, which then turned into your livelihood and just a part of now your passion. And it's so funny because you didn't want to be a teacher. And I feel like those who don't want to be a teacher end up being the best teachers, you know, because they teach in an out of box way, you know, out of box style. And so that's what we see. I know Sally and Kim, they had the opportunity to be your students for a little bit while you offered free classes to the community, which is a huge thing because they would have never thought about, piano, taking those classes. But because that was there, they were able to take a look and see if that was something that they would enjoy. And so now even Sally's son, Samson, he's a student now in your classes. And so because of that one thing that you did, you opened up the door for Samson to be able to dive into this new world of creativity and music.
So the opening it up to the community, I kept praying to figure out, like, how can I get more students? How can I, like, try to build up the business a little bit more? And I couldn't think, like, we have so many limitations as human beings, right? Like, we can only have so many thoughts and so forth. But I had been reading my scriptures and I'm always thinking, like, okay, how does this relate to this? How does this relate to this? And I had read the scripture about Jesus Christ and how he told the fishermen to cast their nets on the other side of the boat. And they're like, Lord, we've been fishing all day. I mean, we'll do it if you say so, but we're not going to catch anything. And they did, and they caught all these fish. And I thought, you know what? Okay, let me see if I can apply that. So I'm just going to cast my net to the other side. I'm not going to ask people to come in and pay. I'm just going to be like, hey, if you want to learn, but I wanted to be able to include the Lord in that. And so I was like, well, they can learn how to play hymns. Like, that's one way that I can kind of help glorify him and move his work forward. And so that's what I did. And I was really happy with the response. I had gotten way more people that signed up that ended up, they couldn't make it happen for whatever reason. But it was really fun to have met new people and just like, I mean, it's not even so much about the networking and stuff. It's just like the relationships that you build and me learning from them and just feeling of their spirits. I just loved it.
Yeah, exactly. You never know how things relate, just like we spoke about earlier with your work, and how everything came together, just like you casting your net and kind of going into uncharted waters and, like, Lord, I don't know what this is going to bring me, but I'm just going to be obedient to what it is that you're telling me. And I love that you followed in obedience, just like you followed in obedience to feel a need. And I know you can't say no because you followed it, and here you are still doing it.
Here you are again.
Right,
in my home.
Yes.
So happy to open the doors. And I think that's a life thing, right? If you open the doors, man, the blessings that can rush in from that, you just have to be willing and have the faith.
Right, exactly. So with you deciding to move forward with this business at home, being inspired, well, maybe not even knowing, but subconsciously because of seeing your parents with their own businesses and that entrepreneur spirit already being instilled in you as a young girl and growing up and having this, what are the challenges that you have faced with starting this endeavor?
Man, just financial, right? With anything, like I'm leaving a job where I get paid on a regular basis. I know what I need to do. When I leave there, I leave it there. And it's all good. But like starting your own business, it's kind of scary because you don't know if you're going to have enough money to make ends meet. And you don't know if you're going to have people that are even interested or if you might get people that talk crap about you. So I try to be really careful about who I associate with, where I put my name. And so, which, you guys are here. I approved a little step approval. But there's just a lot of scary things. I think probably the thing that held me the most, besides God, of course, was my family. And that's my husband, huge supporter. This was a decision that we made together and it was made very prayerfully. So once I knew he was on board and I knew that we had prayed about it and we felt that it was the right thing to do. It's kind of like, I don't know that I ever really looked back and was like, man, maybe I shouldn't have. But I'm like, okay, how is it going to pan out? How's it going to work? And it's like taking a few steps in the dark and you just have those few steps lit. You don't see the way all the way down the tunnel, but just taking those few steps and having the floor lit before you with those few steps is kind of how it's been. But even my extended family, my siblings have been really supportive and I've cried to them about I don't know what to do. And they've all given me really good counsel or just encouragement. So that's been the biggest thing. It's just family and God.
Oh, I love that. What you just said about that, about how the path before you is just, enough just to see the next step just reminds me of that verse, thy word is the lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. And that's exactly what's happening here is that it's just, God, just all right, just the next step. You're not going to
here?
show me
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
You're not going to show me that. All right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to struggle. Okay. And so, I mean, that takes a huge amount of course, trust and faith in God, but also your confidence in your confidence in yourself and your purpose. Because I don't believe that if you were iffy about your purpose for others, for people, for teaching, I don't think you would have taken that step. But because you say you never wanted to teach, but I feel like you cannot keep yourself away from teaching.
Yeah,
You
it's in my blood.
yeah, like in your life, it just shows. It shows in everything that you're doing so far that you cannot keep yourself from that, and it's like that fire that gave you the push to I'm gonna take this leap of faith, and for your husband to support you and your family, and for them to come alongside you like, hey, we got this. We don't know what we're doing, but we're doing it together. We're gonna go the path together, and that's that Chinese proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Oh, I love that.
And so that's exactly what you're doing with your, joining hands with your family. I love to see that. That is so inspiring to me, especially finance is a huge, the big monster that is in the way of you and your goal and the other side. But to see you pursue this and to stand in that, and not just that, but you're speaking to all the other kids, to not only your children, but even like Samson and our kids that are seeing, hey, this is a poly, business and a piano teacher, and I can go there and she can teach me and I can learn from her. They're seeing that, and they might not know it, but later on in life, they'll look back and think, I remember that lady that, she had her own piano studio and she would welcome us into her home. Those things matter. What you're doing matters. And I am so blessed that you allow us to be able to support you, to have you on here so we can tell others, to support you also, because we need you. Our community needs you. Yeah. And especially with music, with Tongan, with Polynesian, our culture.
We just need to develop those skills that are
exactly
there.
it's there. Let's pull it out. We need to develop it.
Thank you, Anna. So I wanted to ask, how do you define success in your business and then also in your personal life? I know you've already shared so much, and right there is already success to me. But just you could share just a little of what that is to you.
I think there's moments where I'm like, man, I'm doing what I think I'm supposed to do, and I didn't even realize that that's what it was.
Exactly.
And it was like, I've had a couple of students that one came in, he must have been second grade, and he's like, man, today at school, I got in trouble because of this and that. I'm so glad I had piano today, so I can just do something that I love. And I was
love that.
I'm happy too.
I love that.
And so I tried not to get on to him about his fingers.
Yeah. Right.
Like, you just play, you go, fly.
Right.
So, and then I had another student that's in junior high, and she's like, I'm so glad I have piano at the end of the week because it's a nice way to just relax from the stresses of school. So that to me is success. If they can play a tune, that's great.
Right.
But it's way more than that. It's like building their confidence.
Exactly.
And it's having a place where they can come and feel comfortable and feel welcomed and feel loved. So there's a lot that goes into a business. It's not, like you said, it's not about just the finances.
Exactly.
It's about the relationships and how you make people feel.
Very important.
Because that's what they're going to remember.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a lot of people that take piano lessons and they don't remember how to play later, but they'll remember the way you made them feel.
Exactly. And that just goes with being intentional. I can just see it just from hearing your story and hearing these students and what they're saying to you is just how intentional you are with them. And man, they're just so lucky to have you. Yeah. This community is so blessed to have the teacher of the year. I mean,
and that doesn't.
It goes to show you really. I'm serious. You really are just hearing these students. That is success when you find your true purpose and you see it fulfilled through these children and what they're telling you. Yeah, I just love that.
And I can say, I was teacher of the year. Like, that don't mean nothing to me. I said I didn't ever want to be a teacher, and that was true. And I think it's because of my personality. Like, I don't want anybody to tell me what I have to do, and I don't want you to expect something out of me that I don't want to do. So knowing that my mom was a teacher, I was like, no, I'm not going to go do it. I'm not going to follow in her footsteps. And that was when I was younger. But as I've gotten older, I'm like, I'm trying to match myself up to her because I think she's such an awesome person, especially as a mom and noticing now the sacrifices that she made.
Oh, man.
But like being a teacher, it it was the same thing in the school. It was like the kids that were like, man, this is my favorite class for whatever the reason is.
Yeah.
And just being able to help them feel a little bit more confident in the skills that they were gaining through the class that I taught.
I love that you're teaching the piano, of course, but there's so much more. There's so many more lessons that I'm hearing here, and I see through the students that come here with what you're teaching them, instilling in them the confidence that they need. And like you said, even the junior high student who said that I just love piano at the end of the week. It's a relaxing way to just end my week. Yeah, to wrap it up. It's therapeutic. And that's something that we need in our community too, is something to be able, an outlet to be able to express ourselves, to be able to debrief and, decompress from the week. And you bring that. And it's not because of just piano, but that's because you as a teacher, you bring that. You set the tone in the environment. You set the tone for your class. You let them know it's okay to come here. It's okay to just relax and your fingers off. And I saw that, but we'll keep going. I won't call you out. Yeah, that's awesome. That's amazing. What do you see yourself doing, or how do you see this continuing to develop into with piano? Are there any other things that you want to teach? Also, I saw that you also have the uke. Yeah, the guitar and uke classes.
Yes. So that was my plan from the beginning. But my husband was like, no, I don't have time for that. We just kind of sneak that in there a little bit and just get in the ear every once in a while. But again, it was something that we were prayerful about to make sure, because he has a 9-to-5 job too.
Yes.
So he started it and he didn't feel very adequate to be a teacher. Same deal. But once he started, he's like, man, I actually enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like he likes seeing the kids learn things. He's learning again, as he's moving forward with it. And I hear him in the other room and he's like laughing and he's like, man, you got it. And it's just, it warms my heart to see that, like, he's that excited about it. So it gets the kid that excited about it. So so guitar and uke are two of the things that we added this year. I mentioned earlier that my son is starting to take Suzuki.
Yes.
And so I was like, okay, I might get myself a violin and practice along with him.
Yeah, exactly.
So I never thought that I would want to play violin, but just today as we were, the teacher was showing him all the instruments and having him listen to them and feel the vibrations. I was like, oh, that one, I want that one.
Oh, man.
So it's something that I will need to find the time to do.
Yeah. Right.
But if I'm doing it with my son, that's,
Exactly.
it's going to make it even more fulfilling because we're learning it together. And
I love that, going back to what we said about taking the step and then seeing the next step, and only seeing the next step when you take a step. And that just with you including your husband in this and him teaching the uke and the guitar and feeling inadequate. And the thing is that as you develop, you have to take the step to see what it can become or what you would never know. And that really warms my heart to hear you speak about him in teaching and how it's been fulfilling for him to teach someone else something. That's amazing. I love that for you guys. This is like everything is in harmony. This is like a musical home. Your son taking Suzuki and even that being something that has piqued your interest. You really don't know. Next year we might be talking and there's how many different you're like, okay. Okay, there's a lot of things going on here. And that's just amazing to see. I'm so excited to watch you do this, especially like Sally said, it's never too late to follow your dream. It's never too late to start something new. Pick up a habit, learn piano, learn an instrument. You never know your full potential until you try something you've never done before. And that's exactly what you're doing here. So I really appreciate you for that. And I appreciate you sharing that, because you could be doing that and not want to share any of this, with
I hate
people.
that.
Yeah.
People are like, what's your recipe? And they're like, no.
Yeah.
Like, I always share.
Yes.
Because I'm like, if it's that good, let's do it.
Yeah. Exactly, because there's a billion piano teachers, studios, but the difference comes from you. Yeah, exactly. And so that's the thing, is you don't have to be scared to share. You can share the recipe. Okay. I promise you, it'll be different because you're different. I'm different. So no matter if we use the same recipe, I can open a studio. I can open a studio, but I'll be the word teacher. So
I don't know about that. I heard you play violin, so
you don't have to open a studio. You don't have to open a studio. We know you're the worst teacher. So
We're building confidence, Sally. It'll be good.
But with that being said, I wanted to share this little quote that I've seen. It says that the greatest threat to being all you could be is satisfaction with who you are. What you could do is always endangered by what you have done. And it just goes to show with you that it doesn't stop. You're always seeing new ways to progress and develop in your business. And I just love that.
I think sometimes my family, like my extended family, I know my mom has looked at me this way before, but she's like, just settle on one thing. Like, why are you always switching around and doing something different? Right. I just feel like there's so much out there that I want to learn everything. Exactly. I want to do everything.
I love that. The spirit of curiosity should never be tamed. I love that because you're just discovering all your potential. Who knows? Maybe you're really good at piano, but you're a pro at Suzuki. Like, you don't know. You don't know until you try.
Exactly. Take that step.
But I wanted to ask you, Analyn, do you incorporate your cultural background or any personal experience into your teaching with the kids? Are they learning a song maybe in our language or a different language? Because I'm sitting here and I'm seeing some words up there. I don't know if it's Tongan. I'm not getting my Tongan or what language that is. Yeah.
So actually, I had a friend that was talking about starting businesses, and she really wanted to start a dance group.
Oh.
And so I was like, yeah, you should do it.
Yes.
And so we got to talking. She's like, man, I don't know where I would do it because she's in an apartment, so her space is limited. And I was like, you can come do it at my house. Like, we can, do the driveway's pretty long and this and that. But it got to a point where the more that we thought about it, we were like, yeah, let's go ahead and do it in here. So her stuff is all on the wall. So she's been teaching the kids different numbers from different islands.
Yes.
And so on Wednesdays and Saturdays, they're here. This is their space.
Mm-hmm.
So they're doing their thing in here. And it's been kind of cool to like collaborate and, just see how we can work with each other and help one another and things like that. So my daughter dances with her and she, does her stuff here, and it's been pretty cool. I've enjoyed having her.
Cool.
I love that because it's gonna turn into a music studio and then a music and performance studio. Because then you have your dancers, then you have the people that are taking lessons playing the instruments. So who knows?
That's my suggestion that I've kind of thrown out in there.
Yes, I mean, you never know how it's gonna develop throughout the years. So that's very exciting.
Yeah. Oh, and one thing that I really love is that you were speaking with someone who had a dream, and you didn't just support them. You did vocally just, oh, that's good. Good for you. You said, hey, good for you. And I have space in my house. Like you.
Now you have no excuses. Come over here. You can start your dream.
Yeah, I really love that because that is the friend that we all need in our lives. That is the person we all need in our corner. Hey, I hear you. I hear you speak about what you love. I've heard you talk about, your interests here and there. Why don't we really look into that? So I love that you were there and you were saying, you know what, we can kill two birds with one stone, and let me help you. And especially for you, for someone like you said, you have your share of struggles. You have your share of, how are we going to make this thing work? But that doesn't hinder you from helping someone else make their thing work. You're just so open to fanning the flames of everyone's dreams, and you're picking up more dreams, and your mom's like,
I get so worried that I'm going to be fanning it and it's like going to burst into, it's going to like burn down, and I'm like, shoot, it's all my fault.
No. I love that so much. Everyone needs an Analyn in your corner, because that's beautiful. Because we sit here, we see everything here, and then we see the words to the songs that your friend is also teaching for her dance class, and that's beautiful. How do you manage everything? Because number one, you're a mom, okay, and a mom of 6, and that in itself is a lot of work. It has its workload of its own. But between being a mom, a wife, and all of your business endeavors, a business owner, how do you manage everything?
I was just talking to my sister about this year, and I was like, I think I might be ADD. I don't know if I was always like that, but I feel like I am now because, and I don't know if that's the case with most moms. Like we're constantly multitasking. So we have our minds going on several different topics at the same time. But my family helps out a lot. Like they know that they need to kind of keep things under control while lessons are going on. And we've implemented the kids have a night for dinner, so they have to start dinner while I'm teaching in here. But I would love at one time to be able to move out of this home and get a place that's a real building. But at the same time, I love the fact that I can like just sneak out real quick and see what the kids are doing, or help out with homework real quick, ask them how things are. That's too close to my heart to want to leave. Like, not that I have the money to do so anyway, but but I really like being able to be here and still manage all those things at the same time. So I think it's just I have a lot of people, you have a village that helps you raise the kids, and you have a village that helps you, maintain your home. And my daughter, like, she lives in Hawaii, but she's working for me. Like, she does all my social media marketing. So she does a lot of that stuff. And then one of my relatives had asked if they could help out with the studio. And so they're starting to do a lot of the things that I don't have time for, like just organizing contacts, lead sheets, music, sheet music. So it's just getting a lot of help from other people. And I know sometimes as women, we're like, no, we can do it. We don't want to trouble anybody else. But I learned that if you don't ask somebody else for help, you're kind of restricting their blessings too, because then they don't
speak
have
on
an
it.
opportunity to serve.
Wow, that was amazing.
Amazing. Yes.
That was like the best answer ever. I love that. One thing that continues to show through in this episode is just your outlook on life and the way that you frame your mind with anything that you're going through, with anything that's in front of you. Like you said, you could easily say, I want to move into my own space and have this away from my home life so that I can balance it. But you said, no, we balance it together. This is a family affair. The family is helping, like, the kids are starting dinner and we're here doing what I need to do. I can pop in and see what they're doing. I love that they're in the same space as me, so I know that they're safe. I'm able to do what I do. They're able to do what they're doing. And you see that as a benefit, as a plus, as an advantage. And that just all because of your mindset and how you look at things. Even saying that you might have ADD and you're seeing that as an advantage as well, as a superpower, that I'm able to turn my attention, drastically to these different things. And for your family to be all hands, to be so supportive in what you're doing, that is amazing. Just hearing what you have to say, and no wonder why you're just this light, and able to encourage others. No wonder why you're able to fill into others' cups, because look at your family. And that's just a reflection of you as a parent, you and your husband as parents, and your kids wanting to have a hand in this, because kids could easily be like, I don't want to, mom, keep your stuff, keep your stuff over there. That's not me.
That's yours, mom, not mine.
Yeah, but that's right. But that is amazing. I love that for you. And I know that it takes, the thing is, when something looks easy, it takes a lot of work for something to look easy.
So I wanted to mention too, like I had mentioned about, my daughter, that she's dancing with Sounds of Polynesian, Texas. And at first I was like, I don't know how I'm going to be able to get her to her practices, because we both had things going on at that time. And so it was like, when you're trying to do all the right things, they just magically are able to fill, those gaps. And so them being able to do it here, I don't have to worry about her doing that. But that has built her confidence. And then she's only 12, but I had started using her as an assistant. So with my level 1 kids, the ones that are really small, she's the one that kind of really takes over with them. And that's, I think, started to build her confidence. She has a little bit of money in her account. And so when you talk about hands-on, it's like, I didn't always think about it until you were saying it, but it's like the example that you're setting for them. They will only do what they know. So the more that you can expose them to, the better chance they have to choose things that are going to be good for them. So it's been, it's just been, so many blessings that I don't even always comprehend.
Oh yeah, and I love that. It just goes back to, the verse about training up a child in the way you want them to go, so when they grow old, they will not depart from it. It just goes to show that we got another teacher of the year coming up. The one,
Take
the
that
one in
sign
train, the one in training, the one that's training
training.
is training for the teacher of the year. So I'm just so excited to see what will come from that.
I
With
know.
everything that we have heard already, it's just like success, entrepreneurship. I love it. But I wanted to ask, what are some an advice that you would give to other moms who are considering starting a home business? And yeah, what are some advice you'd like to share?
Okay, so my number
us.
one,
Right. Me?
yeah, right there. My number one would be prayerful. Be prayerful about it, because if God's in your corner, how can you go wrong?
Yeah.
And also, when you're moving forward and things start to seem like they're falling apart, if you look back and you're like, no, he told me that I should do this, then you can have the faith to know that you can keep going
Yeah.
forward and things
Yeah.
will pan out the way they need to.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's one. The second one is make sure you have a good support system, whether that's your spouse or if
Yes.
you're a single mom or not even, married with kids at all. Just having a good support system. Having a good support system will enable you to have people to lean on when your
Yes.
faith is starting to waver a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah. I love that you brought that up about your daughter, how she's following you around, not because you're making her, but because you're leading the way and she's just filling in and in turn being empowered because, now she's leading your,
The level one.
the level one. Yeah.
And
your
she's
level one
really
students.
she's pretty shy. Like, she doesn't put herself out there. If you tell her to go knock on a door, she will not do it.
Right.
But it just gives her more of an opportunity to see what she's capable of.
Yes, I love that. I love so much that she feels empowered and she's gaining her confidence in that. And then she's also putting money in her pocket, and and she's able to link that the value she's providing that brings value into her account.
Yeah.
So
She's better with it than I am.
Yeah.
There's probably more in there than mine.
Yeah, so that's really cool to see, and I love that for her. And I'm sure with your other children, I'm sure if I was able to speak to them, I would just hear all the things that maybe you were even unaware of that they have learned just from being under you and your husband's leadership, and how you have been rearing them since they were small, and just all the things that they got to see with you and your husband taking that leap of faith and going into new things and opening your home for other opportunities to come in. And like you said, you had a problem that was solved because of something that could be seen as a problem of
More of
someone
an
not having
opportunity.
space. Yeah. But it was actually an
Exactly.
opportunity. Now you don't have to worry about giving your daughter a ride because you're here.
Yeah.
And for moms, that's the best.
Oh yeah.
You're safe. I see you.
Yeah. You can't be safer than in our home. So
Yes, that's awesome. So the question that I have here, which I know the answer to, but I will ask is, how does the community play a role in your business, and how have you played a role in your community?
that was a hard question for me to really find an answer to until you had mentioned how I had opened up classes for hymns, right? The free class. Because I didn't even think about it as it's going to be a benefit to the community. I was just
Right.
like, maybe they can help the congregation and give my hands a rest.
Right.
But
Right, that's the one.
Two things can be true.
not so much the hands, it's the anxiety. But yeah, I think, man, the community, just like you guys being here and just thinking that I'm worthy enough to be, in the same camera frame as you guys.
Please.
I really appreciate that, that support to me. And I was just thinking, just all the things that you're saying that you guys have brought up. I'm like, oh, I never really thought about it like that. But I'm going to be going back to watch this episode several times when I need a little boost.
Right.
And just people that have been just so nice, when they post on their social media and they give their referrals. And I even had a lady that said that she had gone on a Facebook group with moms and was like, I referred you on there, just letting you know. I'm like, wow, thank you. But there's a lot of other things that I'd like to do within the community, and I have, that I have on my to-do list. I'd like to have opportunities for the kids to go to, what do you call them? Not senior centers, but I don't want to say old folks home on camera, but
Nursing homes. Nursing homes.
assisted living, for the kids to go to assisted living centers and be able to play for the residents there. That's on my to-do list for this week to call. And I mean, it's not something that I'm doing yet, but it's
It's on the
it's on the map.
The list of goals, exactly.
Yeah, so I think the community's been great. It's
Yeah.
been awesome to be able to see some people come in and man, they just fly.
Yeah.
And I hope that if they don't stick with piano, that they continue, developing their vocal skills
Right.
or, any other skills, or even just knowing that if they practice enough with
Yeah.
anything, you can get really good at it.
Exactly.
So the community's been a great support. I hope that I can give back as much as I feel like they've given me and just kind of match up with that and be able to serve anywhere else that these hands can go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we know a way that
Yeah.
you've already served the
Exactly.
community,
We
and
immediately saw.
yeah,
Go ahead.
Yes, so we started the Kasitati Legacy Scholarship Program.
yeah.
And when we reached
Yeah.
out to you, you immediately
Yes.
agreed
Took the
with the vision.
See, that's what I
took
mean.
the
Like, I don't think
opportunity.
about it like, oh, how can I
Exactly.
benefit
Yes.
from this? I'm like, oh, yeah, that'd be so cool to be associated with that.
Yes. So you were able to support these students and then also give back to your community.
Yes.
So, sorry.
Yes. So sorry, Sally. You weren't explaining it correctly. No, but so
Not what Sally said.
so we. I'm just kidding. So we had a scholarship that we started last year for students, for seniors that were going to college, and so we had a couple of students write in, and it turned out a lot of students wrote in, and we wanted to bless so many, and so we reached out to our community. To our Polynesian community, for sponsors to be able to help these kids, in any way. Maybe it can go toward books, it can go toward their tuition, it can go towards a laptop, something, car payment, to be able to drive back and forth to school,
that's a good
anything. And so when we reached out to Pianolyn Studios, you were actually the quickest to respond.
I think I was still laying in bed. I was like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna do that.
you were like, yes.
Like, don't you know who I am?
Right. So that of course you did, because just knowing more about you, talking to you today, and seeing how quick you were to jump, you were so quick to be the first to say, I want to be there. I want my name on that. I want to support these students. I want them to see their community believes in them. And this was the reason why we wanted to do it. We wanted to reach out to our sponsors to show our children, it's not just, we're not here, it's a community of us, and we're all sponsoring
So
you
that's
guys.
part of the fish in the net, right?
Exactly.
If you guys hadn't come and started with that hymns class, like
Yep.
we probably wouldn't have ever been talking about it. Like I wouldn't even know you.
Yeah.
But man, I'm sure it's going to continue to go. Like even being able to teach Samson, and it's just been so amazing.
Right. That one thing that you decided, that you walked in obedience and cast your net to the other side and caught all, like this is a direct interaction because of that, what you did. And then that put you on the map for us, and we knew to reach out to you for the sponsorship and just how everything works. God really worked everything together, all of your interactions, and we don't even know the things that are happening right now
That's
because
so
you
true.
decided to do that, and that's just a blessing for us. But you were just so quick to want to stand and join hands with the community to support these kids. That was amazing, and I knew I needed to meet you. I've heard so many good things about you. So for us, this is my first time meeting you, because my sisters have met you, but I feel like I already know you because I've heard so many things from my siblings about you, and I just couldn't wait. And to meet you and hear you speak myself, it just makes so much sense that you were the first to reach out, that you were so excited to support them, because look at what you're doing now. You're not just giving piano lessons, but you're really instilling confidence in these kids. You're giving them a safe space to come and just to breathe and to relax and to allow music to speak to them and be an outlet for them. And you're opening up your home to people who have dreams, and you're saying, let's do this together. And you're looking at everything like, okay, this is a problem. How can I turn it to an advantage? And you do that, and you don't even realize you're doing it. This is just your character and who you
My
are.
brain is like, dishes and laundry.
Right. And you don't even realize the power and the change. You truly are an agent of change in your community, in your church, in your home. And I love being in the presence of people like that. And I love knowing people like that. Like I said, you guys need an Analyn in your corner. We have one. Go get you one. Go get your own. Just kidding.
I need
But
to share, guys.
sign up for piano if you want some of her, okay? But no, really, you really are an agent of change, because nobody comes into your home or to your studio without walking away. You make a difference, and you make a long-lasting difference. And thank you so much for sharing your gift. Thank you so much for deciding to fill in a need at church because you actually feel the need in your community without knowing, you know, and walking in faith. And also thank you to your family because they really have to be in agreement for this to continue to move forward.
That's for sure.
And so for you guys, like you said, prayerfully, everything that you did, every decision that you're making, it had to be done prayerfully, in prayer and in agreement, in unison that we're going to do this. And so it's amazing. We're blessed because of your obedience and your faithfulness. It blesses us. And that's one thing that I'm learning is that your gift is not for you. Your gift is for others. And you have mastered that. Even if you do not know, but you have mastered that because this is just three different three different families in our own families that you bless just by what you do and just by being you and sharing it with others. So thank you.
Sorry.
I wanted to ask, are there any resources, books, or mentors that have significantly influenced your life and your journey?
Okay, first off, my siblings. So I talked about, my parents were both entrepreneurs.
Yes.
So let's see, 1, 2, 3. So I have 3 brothers that all run their own businesses as well.
Wow.
And so there was a day where I was like, bills are piling
Yeah.
up. And I'm like, I just need some encouragement.
Yeah.
It was at work. I called every single one of my brothers. I've got 5 brothers.
Wow.
So those are my mentors.
Yeah.
So I called all of them, crying to all of them, except the youngest, and I didn't even tell him my problems.
Of course, the youngest,
He's still figuring
Figure
life
it out,
out.
right?
You
Yeah.
got problems, I got problems.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they all gave me some really great counsel.
I
And
love
some
that.
of it was, spiritual, some of it was business,
Mm.
but it's, there really is no line that defines that this is
Yeah.
business, this is spiritual. It can all be together. But anyway, so my mentors have been like my siblings. My husband's always giving me really great counsel. I've learned too that even though, sometimes I'm given advice by like my siblings and I'm like, yeah, but I'm not
Yeah.
really trying to do that.
Yeah.
And then later on, I'm like, that's
wait.
probably
Yeah.
a good idea
Yeah.
if I try that out. So I've learned that I need to be more open.
Yes. Yeah.
And then like for resources, our church has a thing called self-reliance
Mhm.
classes that they offer. And there's self-reliance in different topics, but one of them is starting and growing your business.
Mm.
So I've taken that like 3 times.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's still plenty of things I need to master with that.
Yes.
Right.
But it gave me a good starting off point to be able to jump off and be like, okay, well, I know I need to do this. I know I need to like get with the marketing. I need to get my finances in order and all that stuff. So those have been really great helps for me.
That's good. I love that you said, because I'm the oldest, and so I'm not calling these guys, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But I love that you have people that you can call, that you trust, that you're able to tell them, and they're able to give you great counsel. I love that you have that. I keep hearing how much support, like you really have a great village around you,
Yeah, I
that
do.
you're able to lean on, and that's amazing. And that just shows that ourselves, that we need to be that support for each other, for our family members, because I want to be the answer when someone says, who do you have in your village? I would like for us to be useful just like that,
Well, and my sisters are the same. Like
Right.
I don't think I always call them for like the business advice so much,
Right.
but they're the ones that build me up and like tell me
Right.
that I can still do it. And,
Exactly.
so yeah, totally.
Oh, I love that so much. Anyway, so it is. So I'm so sad that the time is going because I feel like I have so much more to say. But I'm gonna go ahead and take my exit here and drive to Trinity High School to speak to the Trojan Talk kids.
Yay.
But thank you so much for sharing your time. I'm gonna let these two wrap it up. I'm gonna leave you in good hands. I promise. So thank you so much. I'll pass this over.
Thank you, Anna.
Yes.
Good to meet you.
Yes. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Thank you, Anna.
Yes.
I'm gonna scoot in.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Anna. Now it's time for me and Sally to step up. So
Hey, Sally.
what Anna said has left. But as of now in your journey, could you please share with our listeners that are tuning in the 3 most important words that have helped you the most to make it this far?
I'm like, 3 most important words. Oh yeah, faith, family, God.
Oh, you see how fast you came up with that? Because that's
I was
exactly,
like, you can do it. No, that's 4. But yeah, faith, family, and God. That's it.
man, I love that because everything you have shared is literally faith,
Those 3 things.
family, and God. And we see it in your life with everything you've shared with us, from growing up with your family, everything to even wondering, okay, how are we going to do it with this business, to your daughter needing, finding a ride to take her to her dance practices. Everything that you do in your life is those three fundamental words: faith, family, and God. And I truly love that. Thank you, Analyn. I also do want to ask you, how do you see yourself or hope to become in the next few years, both personally and also professionally with your small business?
Personally, I just hope that I have a lot more friends and people that I can, call my village.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, personally, you've checked everything off. Like,
I don't know.
I don't know
I
what
got
you
a
can
lot
do
of
more,
things that
but
I
yes.
can improve on. I mean, I'd love to, pick up more instruments. It's just time constraints
Yeah.
right now. But I'd love to just continue developing my relationships
Yes.
for the most part. And if instruments happen to be a part of that, that would be great.
Oh yeah.
On the business
Yeah.
aspect of it, I'd love to fill my studio to capacity. Like for the time slots that I have right now, I could probably take 75 and I've got at least half of that, maybe a little bit more than half.
Yeah.
But I'd like for it to be filled. But then at the same time, there's only one of me. So I
Yeah,
know eventually
yeah.
I'm going to have
Yes.
to either hire somebody
Yeah.
or convince one of my kids
Yeah,
that I will
the kids,
pay
yeah.
them. I mean, my oldest does play piano really well, but he's got his own
Yeah.
dreams and stuff. So I've thought like, well, dang, what am I going to do when it
Yeah.
gets to that point? And I just got a peaceful feeling like it's going to be all right. So I'm going to
Yes.
handle that when it gets to that point.
Exactly. It's just taking that one step, and
Yep.
with each step you take,
Yeah.
then it will light up the path to see the end of the
Yeah.
tunnel. And I just love that. Even you just saying your son, he already knows how to play the piano, just like you in your upbringing of you played piano, then you stepped away for a while in your teenage years, and then the opportunity came to serve your community by playing the piano at church. It's the same thing. I see your son, maybe he's taking a break now, but maybe he might just be that
Oh,
second
yeah.
teacher. He might be. He doesn't know it now, but
He might be like me and doesn't want to teach it all.
I think that's it. Then he's
might
gonna
be inevitable.
Yeah.
Inevitable.
Yeah, it's another teacher of the year for sure. They're just all the children here are just all your kids are teachers of the year. I can already see just with everything we've already shared. Is there anything else you would like to share with our listeners and our viewers? Any additional insights or lessons that you've learned throughout your journey?
Well, I've had people ask me, so what made you decide that you wanted to open a studio?
Mm-hmm.
It was my kids. I wanted to spend more time with my kids.
Oh,
I talked about my oldest. He plays piano,
Mhm.
and he last year in April he set off to serve a full-time mission for our church, the Church of Jesus Christ of
Yes.
Latter-day Saints. And I was crying all up to that point,
Yeah.
and then we dropped him off, and then I cried all the way back home.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I don't know if they would call it a midlife crisis, but I was like, man, I only got 5 more kids.
Yeah.
I say only, but everybody's like, 5.
Right.
I only have 5 more kids. There's only so many more years that I have with the ones at home. Like,
Exactly.
I don't want to spend that in an office.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't want to be missing out on things because I have to get off work
Yeah.
or, have to feel bad because I have to ask my boss if I can take some time off. I
Yeah.
don't want to do that anymore. And so it was just consuming my mind.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I was already teaching piano lessons
Yeah.
privately, just a few students. So I'd come home from the office and then I'd teach my few students and then, try to spend time with my family. So I was just like, what can I do where I can try to make enough money and help support my family,
Yeah.
but still be able to be there for them. And
Exactly.
I mean, it's like everything else we've talked about so far. It was just like the puzzle pieces just started falling
Exactly.
into place and getting my husband on board. Like the first time I mentioned it to him that I wanted to quit, like he said his shoulders just started to feel really heavy.
Yeah.
And the more I talked about it, he's like, they just got heavier and
Yeah.
heavier and heavier. And it was on a drive to the temple where we worship. And so once we pulled into the parking lot, he's like, man, as soon as we pulled in, my shoulders just felt really light. It's like, I think we're going to be okay. Let's go in.
Yeah.
Let's pray about it and let's see where we are. But it was, I think if you look back, at your life and you think, okay, I'm about to die. Like,
Yeah.
where would I have liked to spend my time?
Exactly.
It's not in an office.
Exactly.
It's not with people
Exactly.
that don't appreciate
Yep.
you. It's with your family
Yep.
and
Exactly,
it's doing
your
something
loved
that you
ones.
love. Yeah. Doing things that you love. So being a rich person doesn't always mean that you got a lot of
Exactly.
money in the bank
Right.
account.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're rich in blessings.
Yes.
And
for
sometimes
sure.
that feels way better than
Yes.
yeah.
Oh
you know,
yeah.
having the money that you think that you need.
Exactly. Yeah, that will always overcome any amount of money. I would rather struggle with my family than be missing the opportunities that
Exactly.
and growing with my family,
Yep.
seeing my child walk for the first time because I'm in the office and I miss that.
Yes.
Just being as moms, I know we can relate that being with our children and our husband, just being a family makes us the most happiest. I know for me,
Yeah.
that's the most happiest thing for me. And I know that, it just goes back to training up a child and just, it goes back to like, me and Sally now just stepping out and homeschooling to be able to be at home with our children and raise them according to the way that we want them to grow and be.
And do it as a family.
Exactly. And doing it
Exactly.
as a family.
Yes, and it's been harder for me because I went from working, and then I'm sure my husband's shoulders are feeling heavy. He agreed for me to be a stay-at-home mom, but I know that there's a lot, when it comes to finances, having to navigate that, and so that's why I'm so excited for this episode because I get to learn and figure out, okay, what am I good at that I can turn into a business? What is something that I love? I know my dad keeps saying do YouTube, but I just
when people, because I used to teach a careers class.
yes,
And then you'd ask them, what do you want to be when you grow up? And they'd be like, an influencer. And at first I was like, what is that? But, and it seems for some people, when you think about it, like, generally speaking, it seems like a shallow thing, unless you're being an influencer for the good.
right, yes,
And then that's what the world needs more of.
Yes.
So
yes.
I feel like your parents know you better than anybody else. So
Yeah, you know what, you're right.
Maybe you
But
should go with that.
I'm kind of on that side where I'm the child that's like, I don't want to.
I don't wanna
If
do what
someone
you
else
say.
tells me, I'll be like, what, that's a good idea. And then I go back to my dad. I'm like, oh, that's exactly what you said.
yeah, our kids will be like that too.
Yes.
But
so-
I've looked at it as in, well, now I've just got a couple of witnesses or confirmations that it is the right thing.
Right. Yes, that's so true. And what you were sharing about how you started to feel when your son went off for his mission and then having just 5 kids left. I know we mentioned some people are probably thinking 5 kids, like that's a lot. But to me, it's the same thing. I look at my 5 and I'm like, I just feel like we're missing.
I always
We're
felt like
missing
that.
more.
Yeah. And then we have another one. I'm like, it still feels like
Yes,
we're missing.
yes.
Yeah.
I think I'm crazy because before I never wanted to be a mom, but it just confirms that us moms, we crave that, that relationship with our children and
The
husbands and
togetherness
just
and
being,
everything.
the togetherness. So I love how you turned that situation into the piano studio, into opening it up to other people to come and teach your friend. You mentioned it's Sounds of Polynesia.
Sounds of Polynesia, Texas. Yes.
Wow. So we're excited to see how this is going to develop.
But I just want to thank you, Analyn, for taking this time to sit down with us. We truly appreciate you just sharing your insights, sharing your life story, how you grew up, and seeing that entrepreneur mindset has always been in your family. Even like it's just in your bloodline from your parents to you to your children. And I'm just excited to see what more endeavors that you're going to get into with your business and with your family all together, creating the jets. Okay. I'm just so excited to see everything. And I just want to thank you, Analyn, from me and my sisters. Thank you for taking this time because I know you're a busy
Thanks for
mom.
coming.
You don't got time to play around.
Oh, no, I got time for you guys.
Yeah, so I just thank you so much for allowing us to be able to sit here in your studio. She's also prepared a little charcuterie board for us. We're about to get into that after this. So thank you so much, Analyn, for being with us today. And thank you to our viewers, our listeners. Thank you guys so much for just continuing to tune in with us, make us feel like we're special or something. I don't know, but
They are special.
But if there's anything you would like to share, anything you would like to, words of encouragement for Analyn, or anything you would like to ask and want to know, please comment them down below. Reach out to one of the sisters. Reach out to Analyn. We'll add her information in there for Pianolyn, for her piano lessons. And yeah, I think we're going to wrap it up so I can go eat the charcuterie board. So thank you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of What Anna Said podcast. Bye.